We climbed into darkness. The passage was so dark and cramped, I couldn't even see my own feet beneath me. I had no idea we were so far down.
Hey.
Don't lose your footing. If you slip, I won't be able to catch you. Yeah, I'll be careful. But now that you said that, I'm getting kind of nervous. Maybe talking will help keep my mind off it. Kyoko, there's something I wanted to ask you. You said you're the ultimate detective, right? So how long have you been doing detective work? How long?
So...
Ever since I can remember. I come from a long line of detectives. Detective work is in my blood. There was a time when being a detective was considered a sacred duty. My family's always seen it that way. Then, is your family famous?
Wrong.
Quite the opposite, actually. Even among actual detectives, many people haven't heard of us. Huh? But how come? It's like your family tradition, right? So...
Right.
Because we take pride in it. Pride?
Indeed.
A detective is neither light nor shadow. We represent neither justice nor evil. That is how we can uncover the absolute truth. We stand neutral in all things, and to do that, we have to stand separate from the rest of society. Which is why we've made a conscious effort to conceal our existence. A conscious effort?
It's true.
It's kind of old-fashioned, and I can't say it's entirely rational. But it's our family creed, and we do that when we do what we must to protect it. Because, like I said, it's our source of pride. Pride. So that explains. Before I came here, when I was looking up info about the school online, I never saw anything about her. Because she hid herself on purpose to protect the pride of her family.
However...
And yet, I gave up some of that pride. Huh? In order to enter Hope's Peak, I had to reveal myself to the school. I did it knowing it was something a true Kirigiri detective would never do. But the reason you gave up that pride, the reason you would go so far to enter Hope's Peak, it was because that's how much you wanted to reconnect with your dad, right? There's no shame in that.
What?
Reconnect? I had absolutely no desire to reconnect with my father. Huh? But you'd be reuniting after all those years, right? You would have had so much to talk about.
Wrong.
There's nothing I want to talk to my father about.
However...
There is something I want to say to him, though. What? No matter what it takes. I have to find him and tell him face to face. What is it?
So...
I want to sever all ties with him. Sever? The last time I saw him, I was still very young. So I don't remember myself, but apparently he was extremely intelligent. He was in line to become the next head of the Kirigiri family. He was talented. He had a promising future.
However...
But he had no interest in detective work. So he cut himself off from the family. Not long after that, my mother died and he simply ran away. He went to my grandfather and they had a huge argument, and young as I was, he left me behind. I'm sure there was a reason for that. I'm sure your dad wanted to take you with him.
Right.
If that's true, then I need to thank him. Thank him for leaving me. Because unlike him, I take pride in the work I do. I take pride in my family name. So every last part of me is happy he didn't take me with him. If I'd gone with him, I never would have had the chance to become a detective. I was above Kyoko on the ladder, so I wasn't able to see her expression, so I couldn't tell. I couldn't see how she looked when she said that, what she might have been feeling. Alles klar. Alles klar, Toni. All I could tell was that compared to her usual self, she was more talkative and more emotional. I don't blame him, you know. He had his own life to live. That's what anyone in my position might say, right? But it's not true.
However...
But there's one thing that I can never forgive. Really?
So...
Dankeschön. The way everyone else looked at me. I was never sad about being left behind, like I said. I think it was a good thing.
However...
But when the rest of my family looked at me, they saw something different. They only saw me as the little girl that was abandoned by her father. That's how they see me even to this day. His shadow has been following me my entire life. I'm sick of it. I need him out of my life. I need to step out of his shadow.
Correct.
That's why I have to find him and to tell him we are no longer family. In order to settle the past, in order to remove him from my life forever, I have no doubt he forgot about me years ago. But your family? To just cut him out like that?
Wrong.
Our only connection is through blood, nothing more. Are we connected by heart and soul? No.
Hey.
Is blood really enough to call someone family? Only connected by blood, not by heart or soul. I was so shocked to hear her say something like that. I didn't know how to respond. So instead, I said nothing. I just kept climbing the ladder in complete silence. And after I don't know how long, we finally reached the top. Looks like this is it.
Indeed.
On the other side of this door, Hope's Peak is waiting for us. We're back.
That's right.
Remember that hatch on the ground near the trash room? I'm fairly certain that's where we'll come out. I unlocked it earlier, so it should open without much trouble. Da hat sie den Punkt, das stimmt schon. Mal eben kurz weiter zusammengefasst, was jetzt gerade so alles gewesen ist. Also sie hat auf jeden Fall herausgestellt, dass dieser Mukuro Ikusaba-Fall eigentlich dafür ausgelegt war, sie zu töten. Damit sie eben halt für ihr Vergehen, den Diebstahl des Schlüssels eben halt, haftet und stirbt. Es hat sich herausgestellt, dass der dieser Drahtzieher anscheinend irgendwie doch an die Regeln gebunden ist und deswegen das nicht so ohne weiteres machen konnte. Deswegen hat er versucht, mit diesem Mord das Ganze irgendwie anzukurbeln, sodass Kyoko sterben könnte. Ebenso hätte Makoto das Opfer werden können, weil über Nacht dieser Angriff dieser maskierten Person tatsächlich stattgefunden hat. Und das war schon ziemlich verwirrend, auch für Makoto. Aber Kyoko hat das abgewunden, indem sie eben halt eingegriffen hat. Sie hat nämlich so diese Gabe, quasi die Schritte des Todesteufels, des Todesengels zu sehen und wusste dadurch, dass da eben halt was passiert. Sie hat die weiße Silhouette gesehen, ist hinterher, ist dazwischen gegangen, sodass Makoto nicht getötet wurde. So, das war eigentlich das Wesentliche, was noch im Gespräch war. Jetzt sind die beiden auf dem Rückweg. Den Allzweckschlüssel hat Kyoko noch, deswegen konnten sie durch die Tür aus diesem Loch quasi fliehen und sind jetzt die ganze Leiter hochgeklettert. Und auf dieser Leiter hat Kyoko von ihrer Familie erzählt und hat erzählt, dass sie eigentlich ihren Vater nicht treffen will, um sich mit ihm zu versöhnen, sondern um alle Verbindungen mit ihm zu schneiden. Also, dass sie nichts mehr mit ihm zu tun hat. Sie möchte ihn quasi loswerden. Und dann hat sie auch erklärt, warum. Ihr Vater ist zwar super intelligent und alles toll, aber er hat den Detektivberuf nicht gewählt. Und das ist eben halt etwas, was sie ihm sehr übel nimmt, weil wenn sie bei ihm geblieben wäre, wäre sie nie Detektivin geworden. Und deswegen ist sie froh, dass sie ihm damals nicht gefolgt ist. Und ja, deswegen wollte sie auf jeden Fall alle Bündnisse mit ihm trennen. Und jetzt kommen wir anscheinend aus dem Müllraum raus, weil sie hat vorher die Luke geöffnet. Well, here goes nothing. I reached my right hand up and pushed it against the hatch. The hatch opened with ease, and so... Looks like we're back, but I can't believe how long that ladder was. I'm exhausted. I can't exactly say we're safe and sound, but at least we're out of here. Now we're back in Hope's Peak Academy. Kyoko, thank you. I never would have gotten out of here without you. No thanks necessary. I was just returning the favor. Okay, wir sind raus. Das ist doch schon mal etwas. So what's next? What's the next steps once we get out of here? I should ask Kyoko. Fragen Sie mal. So now, what do we do? I'm glad I didn't die, of course. But if the mastermind finds out, and I'm worried about you too. You helped me, so they might.
Listen.
You're worried? Yeah, of course.
So then.
Then let's just get a concrete answer. Well,
In other words,
let's ask Monokuma if there's a problem with escaping. Wait, that's...
however,
If we try to hide, it's only a matter of time till we're found out, and it's not like we can run away. As she said that, she pointed at the nearby surveillance camera. So you're saying rather than stressing out over getting caught, we should just give up now? Don't worry, what you think is going to happen isn't.
because
The mastermind is the one that's ensnared. The mastermind is ensnared. You said something like that before, what does it mean?
so
The mastermind stood exposed during the investigation into Mukuro's death. There was a moment where the mastermind let their guard down. There was?
right.
If we can talk to Monokuma, we can confirm it. And it'll be better for us if we go to him directly before he tracks us down. That should help with our negotiations. I'm still a little super uneasy about this. But we don't really have a choice, do we?
Indeed.
Monokuma should be in the gym.
Shall we go?
Let's get going. Okay. Also, ab in die Turnhalle. Schon merkwürdig, wieder hier zu sein. Vielleicht hätte es auch aus dem Müllraum einen Ausweg gegeben, wa? Ich glaube auch nicht, dass wir jetzt gerade irgendwo anders rein dürfen. Ich glaube, Kyoko würde uns davon abhalten, wenn wir woanders reingehen wollen. Despair Hotel. Dude. Ha.
Well now.
Kyoko, I don't mind so much.
I
But Makoto's
don't
supposed to be dead.
believe
What's he
it.
doing here? That's exactly how I thought he'd react. Are we really gonna be okay?
Pum, pum.
You were supposed to be punished. Did Kyoko help you?
What?
So what if I did? What will you do?
Shing!
If the guilty party is exposed during the class trial, they alone will be executed. It's unfortunate that it is the rule. So now I gotta punish you again, and this time I won't leave anything to chance. Kyoko,
Right.
do whatever you feel you have to. What?
However,
But before you do, let me just say one thing.
now,
If you execute Makoto, that means you lose. Not that it matters to you, right?
Huh?
I lose?
Hey!
You explain yourself. What do you mean by that?
because
Well, you set up this latest class trial yourself, right? I was getting in your way, so you wanted an excuse to kill me.
in other words,
I was supposed to be chosen as the blackened and then executed, right? Hey, what are you talking about?
however,
But when Makoto chose to overlook my lie, your plan came crashing down. The results of the trial weren't at all what you were expecting. Because you never imagined that in that position one person would protect another like that.
right.
And in response to that unexpected development,
Indeed.
you reacted by proclaiming Makoto the blackened and trying to execute him. You made the choice out of this desperation, no more than that. You must have realized that Makoto, who refused to be manipulated, was a threat to you as well.
However,
But then, there was another unexpected development waiting for you. An entity that would throw a wrench, so to speak, in your precious execution machinery. Alter Ego. You never imagined the possibility of a being that could come to our aid even after you'd killed it.
am I wrong?
Now, here's the absolute truth. Makoto didn't kill Mukuro, you did.
Listen to me.
So executing Makoto for it would surely be a violation of your rules, which I know you love so much. If the blackened is exposed, they alone will be executed. That's what you told us, right? And that means I lose? You talk a big game. You're saying the blackened is me and not Makoto?
Well?
And you can prove this, right?
well,
No, I can't. Don't just say it like that. What is this, a comedy routine? To make such bold claims without a shred of evidence?
that doesn't matter.
I don't have any right now, but with a little more time I guarantee I'll find some.
That's right.
Because no matter how deeply you try to bury it, there is only ever one absolute truth.
Pung, pung.
And now you're trying to talk like some kind of famous detective type.
Because...
If Makoto really was the killer, he never would have come to you unwillingly like this. To you willingly like this. He would have feared for his life, feared another execution. He would have tried to run and hide. He would have been gripped by the despair if you so love and to inspire.
However...
But here we are, confronting you with nothing but hope in our hearts.
What the heck?
And that's supposed to be enough to convince me in the absence of evidence?
Indeed.
It's not you I'm trying to convince.
Hey,
If you were to execute Makoto now, everyone out there watching this would be extremely displeased. Huh?
indeed.
Imagine what everyone out there would think if you killed Makoto. They would assume that you killed him because what we said is exactly right.
Listen to me.
Despair can never kill hope.
Hey,
Of course you can say we're just making this all up. You're welcome to prove us wrong. No, you have no choice but to prove it. Because if you kill Makoto without proving your own innocence, you'll be accepting your own defeat. If you want to earn our despair fair and square,
that's what we have to do.
then I suggest you take my advice.
So, what is this advice of yours?
It's true.
To do Mukuro's trial over again. Only this time you follow the school regulations to ensure a fair trial.
It's time for one last showdown. One final battle between hope and despair. Hey,
Well, that would make for a proper climax, wouldn't you say? A fair trial, one last showdown. In other words, this would be our chance to expose the true identity of Mukuro's killer, of the mastermind themselves. But what reason would the mastermind have to accept the challenge? They'll probably just execute me without another word.
Interesting. Barrett! Very interesting indeed.
Barry?
What's wrong?
Oh, I was getting bored, so I decided to change things up a little. So time for bear jokes. Now that you've suggested might be plausible, it would certainly make for one honey of a climax.
in other words,
Does that mean you accept?
You guys!
If we do things your way, that'll be enough to convince you and the viewers, right? And it would cause you unbearable despair, right? Then I'm prepared to agree with you to your terms. Well, will your hope win out? Or will my despair claim victory?
I can barely contain myself!
Let's have one grisly showdown. He agreed. Then we still have a shot at this.
Barrett!
But this is the long-awaited climax, right? Just guessing the killer is barely fitting in.
You guys!
So for this final face-off, you'll have to unearth all the mysteries that have been buried here. All the mysteries? That's right, every last mystery that's pouring around the school. If you can do that,
I can
then
barely
that'll be
contain
enough to
myself.
qualify it as a victory for you.
it's true.
That's what we've been trying to do all along. Okay, well, good, then let's bear it all. If you can claw our way to the truth of Mukuro's death and solve the mysteries of this school,
You guys!
then you win. But if you can't do all of that, we'll face execution, right? I can barely contain my excitement. When you learn the whole truth, what kind of despair will you show me? We're as excited as you are, I'm sure.
Listen to me.
When we've uncovered every last truth, how will the ultimate despair reveal their own despair? I honestly can't believe how this all turned out.
Hey,
But before we get started, I want to clarify one thing. Do you remember the rule? When one student kills another, that's when the class trial is held.
What's wrong?
Remember that for sure. So what?
hey,
I just want to confirm that is what you said, right? And it's a true statement. You don't have to be so suspicious. I've said it before, but it bears repeating. Everything is based on the school regulations. And having a trial for Mukuro is no exception to that. Huh? Mukuro's trial is no exception? Then it's part of the regulations? Which would have to mean that whoever killed Mukuro.
It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint. I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, and all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in hopes of kept peak since the killing game began are those 16 students. What?
Listen.
Are you telling the truth? Why might he go quiet all of a sudden?
Now I'm really angry! I'm done talking. I got nothing left to say. So get lost, would you?
Why so mad? He seems emotionally unstable.
Hey! Leave me alone. Get out of here.
Oh, okay, I'm going. You're really gonna let me go?
I don't even care anymore. You're all gonna get your punishment later anyway. I need to start getting it ready. A super duper extra special punishment for overflowing with despair.
Hey.
Come on, Makoto, let's go.
Okay. Strange. Monokuma's unstable laughter seemed to cling to us as we walked away. And just like that, we were out of the gym. I could hardly believe it, but somehow I ended up not getting executed. I still had my life, and we still had a chance. Overall, things turned out way better than expected. Once again, I was in Kyoko's debt. Kyoko, thank you. Everything I have right now is because of you.
However...
Don't thank me just yet. The real battle is still ahead of us. Yeah, true. But still, I'm glad it worked out. I wasn't sure if the enemy would accept my proposal. But honestly, why would the mastermind agree to that? I mean, they don't stand to gain anything from a final showdown, do they?
So...
They had no choice but to accept. Huh?
Because...
It's all because that one moment that the mastermind let down their guard, like I said. So when was it that the mastermind let their guard down?
So...
I wasn't there to hear it myself, but do you remember that the mastermind said? They said that they had hijacked the airwaves to broadcast our school life to the outside world, right? Yeah, they definitely said that.
Listen.
And what did you think when you heard that? Pretty hard to believe, right? Well, I mean, the idea of actually taking over the airwaves seems so unbelievable.
Indeed.
You don't exactly read about something like that happening very often, so it's hard to imagine. In other words, that kind of thing is extremely difficult to pull off.
However...
And yet somehow the mastermind was able to do it.
In other words...
But think of it another way. There must have been some reason they had to do something that difficult. A reason?
So...
They had to show the world something no matter the cost, us killing each other. They wanted to show the world.
It would seem...
The mastermind has been very adamant about not killing us directly, but forcing us to kill each other. And all their rules and regulations were designed to encourage that. Yeah, that makes sense. If those stupid regulations didn't exist, nobody would have killed anybody.
In other words...
So the mastermind's ultimate goal was to make us kill each other and show that off to the world. But why?
Correct.
To prove a point, most likely. Prove a point?
Hey.
The outside world has a name for the students of Hope's Peak, right? A certain concept. You're talking about hope, right?
That's right.
And for those of us who represent hope to kill each other and sink into despair, the mastermind wants the world to see that and try to prove that despair is better than hope. That's their goal, the ultimate despair. What? They want to prove that that despair is better than hope? But that's ridiculous.
It's true.
You're right, it is ridiculous, completely irrational. It's the kind of thing that nobody but those who call themselves the ultimate despair would devise. That group whose only purpose and motivation comes from despair. But is that really their only reason for making the rest of us suffer?
Makoto.
I know how angry it must make you, and yet that same motivation is what led to the mastermind revealing their weakness. What?
In other words...
Because their goal is to broadcast the killing game to the world. The mastermind has had to be more particular than is reasonable about their own regulations. If the mastermind is simply ignoring the rules, this wouldn't have been a game, but a one-sided slaughter.
At the very least.
At least, that's how those who are watching this would have seen it. And that's why the mastermind couldn't kill any of us themselves.
Indeed.
That's it. That is precisely the reason. No matter how much they may hate what I'm doing, I haven't violated a single one of their regulations. Junko broke the rules, so she was punished, but in my case, they couldn't lay a finger on me.
Right.
So instead they tried to use the class trial following all their proper rules to get me killed. They began a trial that didn't have a right answer, then made me out to be the killer. But even that didn't work.
It's true.
Yes, thanks to you. And due to the failure, the mastermind took yet another risk. They attempted to kill you instead, who also was not the killer. And when that fact was exposed on live TV to the entire outside world, the mastermind had to accept your suggestion.
Indeed.
To prove to the world that despair is better than hope, they have to defeat us in perfect form.
In other words,
It would only do the mastermind harm to have it shown that they'd violated their own regulations. But all of that was a hunch, right? And you were still able to get the mastermind to accept your challenge.
however,
Well, it's only thanks to you that we got the chance. Because you believed in me, another path opened up. Still, I can't believe how much the mastermind's thoughts and plans you were able to figure out. I didn't have the slightest clue.
wrong.
In the end, though, I couldn't prove any of it. It was just my reasoning. Essentially, I was making a bet.
Whew.
But it looks like I got it right. This time, at least, I won the bet. She let out a quick sigh. I took it as a small sign of relief. To be honest, I haven't been that nervous in a long time. I totally couldn't tell you were nervous at all. You seemed totally confident from the moment we decided to go talk to him. Well, presenting a strong demeanor is a fundamental part of negotiation and persuasion, wouldn't you say? Plus, if I had showed my uneasiness, that would have just made you that much more uneasy. Yeah, you're probably right. How pathetic.
However,
Anyway, we can't relax just yet. All we've done is earn another chance to fight. We have to win this time.
correct.
Or anything we've done and anything we've gone through will have been for nothing. You're right. If we can't defeat the mastermind, it'll cost us our lives. There's no option except to win.
Hey,
But before we begin the final battle, we have to tell the others what's going on. True. But now we know who our real enemy is. And all we have to do now is work together with everyone to destroy the mastermind. Work together with everyone.
however,
And is that really possible? Huh?
anyway,
Anyway, right now we have to go find the others.
shall we go?
They are probably in the dorms somewhere. Shall we go? Schon ziemlich krass das Ganze jetzt, ne? Fassen wir doch nochmal zusammen, was jetzt alles passiert ist. Wir sind also in die Sporthalle gegangen, um Monokuma zu konfrontieren. Und Monokuma hatte sofort wieder Mordsgedanken. Er wollte uns am liebsten sofort töten, weil wir ja entkommen sind. Und das gegen die Regeln ist, dass Makoto noch lebt. Allerdings hat es Kyoko geschafft, ihn ein bisschen quasi in die Enge zu zwingen. Da ja sowieso auch der ganze Drahtzieher so ein bisschen in die Ecke gedrängt wurde. Dadurch, dass eben halt ja die Zuschauer in der Außenwelt ja auch gesehen haben, was passiert ist. Wenn jetzt tatsächlich jemand, nur weil er überlebt hat, jetzt doch wieder getötet wird, ist das ja kein deutlicher Sieg. Deswegen hat sie mit ihm ausgemacht, dass es nochmal ein faires Gericht gibt zu diesem Fall von Mukuro Ikusaba, in dem wirklich alles wichtig ist und alles auf den Tisch kommt. Und die Bedingung wurde folgendermaßen festgelegt: Wenn die Schüler es schaffen, den kompletten Fall richtig zu lösen und die Wahrheit zu zeigen, sind sie frei. Schaffen sie es nicht, werden sie getötet. Und Monokuma ist sich ziemlich siegessicher. Allerdings haben wir natürlich etwas dagegen. Was das Besondere an der ganzen Sache ist die Tatsache, dass Kyoko eigentlich nur nach Intuition jetzt quasi gehandelt hat und nicht hundertprozentige Beweise hat. Die Beweise müssen wir gleich noch finden. Allerdings hat sie nochmal erklärt, wo sich dem halt der Lehrer gerade, oder der Drahtzieher eben halt ein bisschen verraten hat. Nämlich in der Tatsache, dass sie eben halt eine Verbindung zur Außenwelt geschaffen haben und quasi der Außenwelt zeigen wollten, dass Verzweiflung, also Despair, besser ist als Hope, also Hoffnung. Und um das richtig zeigen zu können, müssen sie einen perfekten Sieg herstellen. Und einen perfekten Sieg kann man eigentlich nur nach den Regeln darstellen. Und das ist immer das Problem. Der Typ ist, der Drahtzieher muss sich an die Regeln halten. Das heißt, sowas wie jetzt, letztes Mal dieser Fall, wo eben halt ein künstliches Szenario geschaffen wurde, um Kyoko loszuwerden. Und als das nicht geklappt hat, Makoto loszuwerden, darf es nicht nochmal geben. Das ist das, was wir jetzt zu unseren Gunsten nutzen, um den Fall eben mal zu klären. Und jetzt haben wir uns dazu entschieden, mit den Leuten nochmal zu sprechen. Allerdings denke ich, wir sollten nochmal ein bisschen mit Kyoko sprechen.
Anyway,
Okay, sie sagt uns nichts anderes mehr. Das ist schon mal gut zu wissen. Dann gehen wir hier raus und suchen die Leute mal. Die sind ja in den Schlafgemächern. So, wollen wir da doch mal hin. Ich glaube, viel Freizeit werden wir nicht mehr haben jetzt. Jetzt müssen wir nämlich sehr, sehr viel untersuchen wahrscheinlich. So. Mal gucken, ob wir hier Leute auf dem Flur finden werden. Ach ja, diese ganzen Zimmer nochmal. Hier ist niemand. Soll ich euch mal was sagen? Ich habe das Gefühl, dass sie nicht in ihren Zimmern sind, sondern im Speiseraum. Ich weiß nicht warum. Die werden sich wahrscheinlich nochmal zusammensetzen, nachdem was passiert ist. And suddenly we were greeted with... You again. Is he broken?
whew,
I suppose his emotional instability reached its limit. Jeez, what the heck?
however,
I wonder what that was all about. I couldn't help but let out a sigh of relief. Ah!
Is that Makoto?
Scheint so, ne?
You guys!
It is! There's no two ways about it. That's Makoto!
You survived?
Yep.
Jeez. You're like a stubborn little cockroach, you know that?
I'm just asking to make sure, but you're not a ghost, right?
Nope. Everyone was there. All my friends who had struggled together and survived. As soon as I saw their faces, I couldn't help myself. I started to tear up.
What?
Wait, what's that smell?
What the heck?
Yeah, man, that seriously stinks. It's Makoto. He smells like a wet dog. Get away! Shoo shoo! And in a flash, my tears dried up. Naja, sehr, sehr freundliches Willkommensgeschenk von denen. Hero als Maul. Mit deinem Ghost. Ja. So. Mal gucken. Wir sind jetzt hier wieder in der Speisehalle. Und alle Leute sind da. Aber erstmal,
Makoto.
there's no time to indulge in an extended happy reunion. We need to explain everyone what happened with Monokuma.
Yes.
Explain? Explain what? But is it okay that you're here? What if the mastermind catches you?
It's true.
That's related to what I have to tell you all. Okay. I need to tell you all about the last class trial.
Huh?
Last class trial?
In other words,
We're going to redo Mukuro's trial.
Huh?
What? Seriously?
How about that?
What's the point of redoing it? Makoto killed her, right? No, I didn't do it, like I keep telling you.
wrong.
Makoto isn't the killer. And of course it's not me or any of you. Then who is it?
I see.
What she's saying is... it was all the work of the mastermind.
Huh?
What? You're saying the mastermind killed Mukuro?
That's right.
That's right. It was all an elaborate trap contrived by the mastermind. Makoto spotted the trap in time and did what he had to do. To stop it.
However,
But his decision meant that he would be the one to die.
What did
You
you
spotted
say?
the trap, did you, Makoto? You make it sound like it was easy. I just, you know.
However,
But executing Makoto, who wasn't the blackened, is a clear violation of the school regulations. The rules state that only the blackened is to be executed. The mastermind broke their own rules. Which is why I went and negotiated with them to have the trial one more time.
Huh?
And the mastermind agreed? Does that mean they really did break the rules? They had no choice but to agree. You used the TV broadcast to gain the leverage you needed, didn't you?
correct.
Very observant of you.
Naturally.
I recall what you said at the end of the last trial. When you said, now it's the mastermind that's ensnared. That's what you were referring to.
Don't be mean!
Hey, I'm totally in the dark here. For anyone who doesn't understand, you can ask Kyoko to explain it again later. Ich fasse es aber nochmal zusammen, weil das fehlte gerade in meiner Zusammenfassung, ist gerade ziemlich wichtig. Weil, ich habe ja gesagt, dass sich der Drahtzieher auch an die Regeln halten muss. Und ihm indirekt ist aufgeflogen, dass er die Regeln gebrochen hat. Dadurch, dass eben halt Makoto, der nicht schuldig ist, auf einmal für schuldig erklärt wurde. Was ja nicht stimmte. Das ist nochmal ein ganz wichtiger Punkt und hier hat Byakuya das nochmal sehr schön rausgestellt, dieses Argument, dass die Welt zuschaut, ist ein ganz großer Faktor. So knowing all of this, what do we do now?
About that.
It's about who killed Mukuro, right? So our job is to expose the mastermind. But there's more to it than that, correct? Yeah. For us to win this time, we have to solve every last mystery surrounding the school.
Huh?
Every last mystery? But we've been looking around all this time, and we still don't know anything, right?
Anyway,
You've probably guessed already, but if we lose this time, everyone dies.
Oh no!
Everyone?
I hate you.
Hey, who said you could agree to those terms without talking to the rest of us? I'm fine with things the way they are. I'm fine living here forever with the master. I meanwhile want to get out of here as soon as humanly possible.
anyway,
At this point, the only way for us to survive is to unravel the truth.
Interesting.
In other words, one decisive final battle. A rather interesting development, I'd say. But figuring out who the mastermind is, and how they killed Mukuro, and all the school's mysteries, it's a pretty tall friggin' order. Maybe, but this time the trial is different. We know who our enemy is now. So if we work together and search as hard as we can, I'm sure we'll solve all those mysteries. I'm not so sure about that. Huh? I can't agree with the idea of working together with everyone. You can't agree? Why not? I mean, working together with everyone else looks like the most obvious way to solve all the mysteries.
indeed.
That's what I thought too, at first. Until Monokuma gave us that little hint of his. Hint? It's a very polarizing approach, I know, but okay, enough puns. Anyway, here's a hint.
I'm sure I told you this already, but this killing game began with 16 participants, all of them high school students. And the only people to take a single step in Hope's Peak since the killing game began are those 16 students.
I see.
Monokuma said that, did he? Then Kyoko's opinion is perfectly reasonable. Huh? But why?
So, in other words,
If the mastermind really is the one who killed Mukuro, as Kyoko says, then the mastermind would have had to set foot in the school, right? Monokuma could probably murder Mukuro, but there's no way he could have disguised the scene like that.
in other words,
But according to Monokuma, the only people who have set foot in Hope's Peak are the 16 students who have been taking part in the killing game. Then the mastermind is... There were 15 of us in the main hall at the very beginning. And in Mukuro and you get 16. So the mastermind would have to be one of them?
that's right.
And of those 16 people we started out with, the only ones still alive are the people standing right here. Need I continue or do you get it now? You're saying the mastermind is one of us?
No way!
You can't be serious. Wait, we can't say for sure that's true yet. Monokuma might have just said all that to confuse us.
Indeed.
It's certainly a possibility, but only one among many. The mastermind being one of us is also a possibility. And that is one possibility we can't ignore. Yeah, I mean, they are an ultimate, right? The ultimate despair, so they must be a high schooler. You can't say it's not possible. But if one of us was the mastermind, they'd have to be controlling Monokuma somehow, right? But did you ever see anyone acting suspicious anytime Monokuma was active?
Well,
Maybe they snuck off and controlled him in a secret.
but...
I don't care how sneaky you are. We would have noticed someone sneaking off that many times.
I'm right, right?
Maybe Monokuma was on autopilot. Maybe they loaded up all the dialogue and actions beforehand. In that case, there's no way he could have had all those back and forth conversations with us. Well, it wouldn't be entirely impossible if they directed the flow of the conversation. Well, maybe, but still.
This is a school announcement. You've all probably figured this out by now, but at this point, the killing game has now entered true ending mode. So, in the name of fairness, I will unlock every room in the school.
Cool.
Look wherever you want. Solve the mystery in whatever way you see fit. Then we can all meet up at the class trial, okay?
How very magnanimous of him to unlock all the rooms.
That's fine.
The time for talk is done. Now we need to begin our investigation. But I was planning on working alone from the beginning anyway.
In the name of my
At this
family.
point I can rely only on myself, on the Togami blood flowing through my veins. I have no time to worry about the rest of you. Each of you must uphold your responsibility.
Goodbye.
Well then. After making his final statement, Byakuya left the dining hall. Master! He didn't take me with him.
Hey.
Do you blame him? Without Master, the rest of you are like coffee with cream without the cream, or coffee. You're totally useless. So bye. With that, Toko trudged out the dining hall. And now she's gone. And you're gonna be off yourself, right, Kyoko?
Indeed.
That's right. Which just leaves Makoto, Hina, and me.
You know?
In that case, I'm gonna be by myself too.
Just a second.
Wait, how come?
How about that?
Just wait and see. I'm gonna use my totally awesome spirit power to figure out the mastermind's identity. Laughing loudly, Hiro left the dining hall. Everyone's really gonna go off by themselves. What about you, Hina? I guess I'll do the same thing.
But,
I mean, it's not that I don't trust anyone, you know?
'cause,
But
I mean...
up till now, I haven't really been all that useful. Stimmt doch gar nicht. I just deepened on Sakura and everyone else. I'm just dependent on Sakura and everyone else. You're not useless. If you had been there, I would have died.
Huh?
Makoto! That's really nice of you to say. But still, I know I've mostly been totally useless.
Okay.
So I figure at least here at the end, maybe I can find something that'll help us all get out of here. So I'm gonna go off and do it all on my own. Okay, see you later. Okay. Hina was in surprisingly high spirits as she dashed out the dining hall. And once again, it's just us two.
Indeed.
Indeed. Okay. So you're gonna go off on your own too, right, Kyoko? Gut, wir haben also jetzt erstmal den anderen offenbart, dass wir noch leben und erstmal erklärt, was jetzt Anmach ist. Und dabei haben wir erstmal festgestellt, dass Toko beispielsweise durchaus hätte gerne so weiterleben wollen, wie es jetzt ist. Aber alle anderen wollten das nicht so. Darüber hinaus hat die ganze Gruppe von Monokuma erfahren, dass jetzt alle Räume offen sind. Weil wir jetzt im True Ending Mode sind, wie er sagt. Also das wahre Ende steht wohl kurz bevor. Und er hat alle Räume für uns geöffnet, damit wir suchen können. Und damit wir alle Beweise finden können. Was eigentlich sehr großzügig von ihm ist. Allerdings möchte jetzt jeder auf eigene Faust ermitteln. Und warum wollen sie das? Wegen dem, was Monokuma gesagt hat. 16 Schüler haben begonnen. Seitdem sind nur 16 Schüler in diesem Gebäude. Was natürlich sehr, sehr verstörend sein kann. Denn jeder von diesen 16 könnte die Mastermind sein. Wir haben nochmal rekapituliert, dass eigentlich keiner von den jetzt noch Lebenden in Frage kommen könnte, weil bisher sich niemand irgendwie verdächtig verhalten hat, wenn Monokuma in der Nähe war. Allerdings habe ich da so meine These. Ich habe eine ganz, ganz blöde These wegen dem, was ich letztes Mal gesagt habe. Und ich bleibe auch bei der. So you're gonna go off on your own too, right, Kyoko?
However,
Well, don't misunderstand. Just because we're going to do our searches separately doesn't mean we can't still work together.
so...
That goes for all of us. I think I see what you mean. Doing our own investigation doesn't mean we can't work together in the end. I should just see it as us splitting up to cover more ground. And then we can get back together and share what we found. Yeah, that's right.
So then,
Well, I'd better get going. I have an endless list of things I need to check.
correct.
Monokuma said all the doors in the school had been unlocked, right? So we should be able to investigate every nook and cranny in the school. We can visit all the places we couldn't go before.
Makoto.
Makoto, no matter what it takes, we have to uncover the truth. Hat's auf jeden Fall recht. By any means necessary. With that, Kyoko was gone, leaving only me. I don't have time to waste either. I have to begin my search. I still can't believe the mastermind might be one of us. So that's why I have to prove. I'll prove that the mastermind isn't one of us. I'll expose the mastermind's true identity and solve the mystery of this school. And then we all can escape together. Investigation time, dude. I guess I'll start by taking another look at Mukuro's Monokuma file. Due to an explosion, the victim's identity is unknown. They were, however, dead before the blast. The victim had been stabbed a single time with a knife, which went completely through the body. They had also been struck in the head with an object about as thick as a metal pipe. The body was covered with other wounds, but these were at least several days old. Once we find out who killed Mukuro Ikusaba, then we'll know who the mastermind is. So where should I start with my investigation to figure out who killed her? I guess I should start with the rooms that were locked up until now. The headmaster's room, the biolab, and the door in the data center with Monokuma's face on it. And the second floor of the dorms where the gate was down before. That should be open by now, right? After that, I'll have to double check the areas that are connected to the murder, which means the garden and the dojo. Okay, time to get started. Okay, wir haben die Places to check, haben wir. Sehr schön. Aber ich möchte erstmal noch was anderes mir angucken. Nämlich die Report Cards. Ich wollte mir nochmal die Gesichter der Leute anschauen. Ganz, ganz dumpfe Vermutung. Aber ich glaube, ich liege richtig. So, das erste, was wir uns anschauen werden, ist, glaube ich, tatsächlich die neue Etage, die sich aufgemacht hat. The gate's open. We can finally check out the second floor of the dorms. Which means I have to do it. This is the second floor of the dorms? It looks like some ancient ruins. Oh no, it's like more like a battlefield, like a bomb blew up here or something. Okay, hier gibt es auch nicht viel zu untersuchen offensichtlich. Strange. Blut auf dem Boden, da reagiert er nicht drauf. Okay, hier haben wir schon mal dieses eine Zimmer. Hier haben wir hier haben wir Toiletten. Was war... Hä? Was ist das denn? Was zur... This room is filled with lockers. It must have been for the Hope's Peak students who came here before us. The class before ours must have used these lockers. It looks like this locker is already broken. Ich glaube, hier finden wir nichts Sinnvolles. Sehr, sehr strange. Sehr, 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 sehr strange. Moment mal. Wir gucken uns auch noch mal das Schlafzimmer an. Hä? Was zum Geier? The bed is completely torn apart. I mean, it's not even really a bed anymore. It's just garbage. Hey, coin! Another coin. Another coin. I opened the door just a crack, glanced inside and immediately closed it again. There wasn't even a hint of a bathroom, just a big pile of rubble. Okay, raus hier. Oh Mann. Das sieht ja schon alles ziemlich verstörend aus hier. Weiberklo. This is the girls' bathroom. Even in a place like this I can't bring myself to go in. Makoto, du Weichei. Der sieht aber ziemlich gepflegt aus, ne? Crazy. Hier ist nichts passiert. Da ist keiner. Drin. Sagt da der Pimp. Der Pimp weiß das. This room doesn't really feel like a student's room. It has a more adult atmosphere.
Correct.
It's the headmaster's private room. Kyoko!
Indeed.
I've been through this room several times already, but I still have one little regret. So I decided to check it out one more time. Huh? A regret? There's a PC on the desk. It must have belonged to the headmaster.
It would seem...
Whoever used this last. It looks like they were very interested in the ultimate despair. The PC still has some search results left on it. Then we might be able to get some info on the ultimate despair.
However...
There's not much though. Nothing we don't already know.
In other words...
The ultimate despair isn't one individual, but instead points to some kind of group. That group is responsible for the tragedy which happened 1 year ago. They are the worst sorts of people whose driving force comes from despair.
However...
And that's all there is. Not much to it. Is there?
Whew.
But I guess that's the best he could do as a complete Kirigiri failure. But any information about the mastermind is helpful, right? I appreciate whatever info we can get our hands on.
Correct.
I see. That's a good outlook to have. The ultimate despair has been added. Okay. Was haben wir hier denn noch? Das wollte ich mir gleich angucken. Das sieht nämlich sehr, sehr verdächtig aus. Must have belonged to the headmaster. Okay, wieder eine Münze. Münzen laufen. Das hatten wir ja auch schon. Dann mal hier hin. Huh? There's a strange gap in the wall. Is it some kind of design mistake or a construction defect or something?
So...
There's a gap here, but not just any normal gap. I can feel a breeze coming out. A breeze?
Indeed.
There's like an open space on the other side of this wall. Open space? Does that mean? You mean like a hidden room? I think I might know how to open it. You know how to open it? Did you figure out some kind of trick or something?
Indeed.
A very easy trick, yes. So easy I'm not sure you can even call it a trick. I saw a program on that PC, I think that controls it. Enter the right password and the door should open right up.
However,
But I don't have a clue what password it might be. All we know is it's probably made up of letters and or numbers. We can't really go from there. You're right, that's not nearly enough to go on.
it's true.
It looked though through all his paperwork, all the files on the PC, everything I could think of. I learned more about him than I had any desire to, but nothing that might have been his password.
Whew.
When I think of how much time I wasted on this. Jeez. So there's a hidden room she couldn't get into. That's what she meant by regret. I think we can assume that there must be some kind of clue waiting in there. But maybe for her, there's more to it than that. Anyway, if we want to get in there, we need to figure out the password. And if Kyoko can figure it out, nowhere do I stand a chance. No, wait. There might be a chance. The password could be something Kyoko couldn't have thought of, or something she didn't want to think of. For example, what about your name?
What?
Huh? Oh, sorry. I was just trying to think of what the password might be. I'm sure she hasn't tried it. I mean, it's totally understandable. After the way she talked about her dad, the idea that he would use her name as his password. Knowing how she is, I bet the idea never even occurred to her. Do you mind if I try it, just to be sure?
Well,
It's not like you need my permission. If you want to try it, try it. Do whatever you want. Okay. Ab geht's.
it would seem...
I think I saw a program.
However-
Ja.
However,
Ja, erzähl mir keinen. PC. Ab dafür. You know, I'm glad I thought of trying Kyoko's name. But if that's not it, that might just hurt Kyoko even more.
hey,
If you're worried about me, Makoto, don't be. I already know that your guess is wrong. Okay, in that case, here goes nothing. I collected myself and turned my face to the computer monitor. Let me just type the password here. I typed in her full name, Kyoko Kirigiri. My hands were tense, slightly trembling, and as I finished typing it in... Beep. What? That did it? Kyoko, it worked!
why?
Kyoko. Without looking at me, she disappeared into the hidden room. She looked grim. Kyoko. Tja. Ratet mal, wer jetzt wieder zuschlägt, Leute. Der Cliffhanger-Night schlägt wieder zu. Was ist in diesem Raum? Was werden wir dort finden? Naja, bin gespannt, was es sein wird. Wir werden es morgen früh sehen. Bei Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Wir haben ja schon einiges an Beweisen gefunden. Wir müssen aber anscheinend jetzt wieder Neues finden. Ja doch, wir müssen an dieser Stelle beenden. Das würde sonst wieder zu lange dauern, wenn wir die ganze Untersuchung machen. Ich bin noch mal gespannt, wie sich das Ganze hier noch ausspielt. Deswegen, seid gespannt, wenn es wieder weitergeht. Wir können uns mal die Regeln angucken. Wie viele sind es insgesamt jetzt geworden? Wir hatten sogar 12 Regeln. Wisst ihr Bescheid? Wir hatten 12 Regeln. Und deswegen sage ich, bis zum nächsten Mal, liebe Freunde. Wenn es wieder heißt Danganronpa, Trigger Happy Havoc. Bis heute Nachmittag bei Persona 4. Sprach der Raven halt nimmer mehr und bleibt sauber.